Hey, what's up, everybody? XRP 299, basically $3, and we are starting to poke above this downward resistance line. Remember, we were talking about this potentially being a descending triangle, and it's been pretty boring recently, so really no videos. I did put a members video out the other day, so if you want to go check that out. But basically, we are starting to poke through, and that's the first sign that we want to see. The second sign we want to see is for us to close above that line. And then we want to start battling this 306 to 311. So if we could start breaking through that this week, that'll be a good sign. And then once we get through there, we're looking at 330 and then ultimately 350. So we definitely have some work cut out for us, but you can see this right here is looking somewhat like a flat potentially, right? A three-wave move to the upside. So if that's the case, then you have point A, right? Point B, and now we're looking to go into point C, right? The market is triangular, right? So once we get there, there's a very good possibility that we can flag out and break to the upside, going into essentially price discovery, new all-time high. There's another alternative, which is that this is an A wave. This whole thing becomes a B wave, and then we go down for C, and then we go up. So either we can break out from here, or we have to come down and then do so. So that's kind of the two ideas that I have. Basically, is this wave going to be more complex? I don't think it will be, because it's already pretty big. And if you look, and if this is a 1-2-1-2, and we look how long this took roughly, this took, about 40 days or so. So if we look at this, how long did this take, roughly speaking? This also took 40 days, right? Actually, if I do it from the highest candle close, which is this one here, and to the low, look at that. That's exactly basically 45 days, the same as this. So we're in the same degree as this correction here, which tells me, and also we have a three-wave move, right? We have a three-wave move, and we also have a three-wave move. So this tells me that we are potentially finished with the ABC, and now we need to work on the retrace levels. Once we get through those retrace levels, then we can start to break out, right? But the worry is, one, we don't close above and we come down. And let's talk about that real quick. If this decides to come down, which I don't think it will, then it could still just be, for example, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, right? So it'd be just a little bit bigger, but then it would go. So the other worry is getting through the retrace levels, right? So if we look at a standard retrace, we can see we are currently, between the 236, the 382. So what we really want to do is, let's see, let's get these lines here. We'll put this one here, put that one there, and we'll put that one there. And then we'll just get rid of the whole, well, actually, let's put one more line at our 1618. There we go. And then we can get rid of that. All right. So, yeah. So basically between 330 and 345, this zone right here is the most important zone in XRP's life, right now in regards to price discovery, right? So we really need to break through that. And we have a good chance. The reason why we have a good chance is because we have a lead in. And what is the lead in? We have this massive impulse and a three-wave pullback. So we have basically, if you think about a slingshot, right? You take the slingshot and you're pulling it back and then you snap. So that's what we want to see. And that's what I believe will happen. Now, it's not a guarantee. This is not financial advice. I could be totally dead wrong and we could go to zero. But I don't know if people really believe that would be the case, because I don't. I think we have a serious shot at breaking this. Now, it's not the best looking three-wave shape. It barely took the low. It looks awfully like a descending triangle, but we're starting to poke through, which is a good sign. So remember, this was also kind of like a descending triangle in a way, where we broke down, we faked everyone out, and then we did it again, right? So, but the big story here is the larger time frames, right? Because we can't forget where we are. So let's take all of that off, and we can see we are doing pretty well. I mean, we are literally right in this purgatory zone here, right? So essentially, we're just waiting. Basically, this entire thing is just a massive version of what happened down here. So you could see, XRP likes to go sideways, then it moves up the ladder, then it goes sideways again. What do you think's going to happen? It's probably going to go up again, and you're stepping up the stairs, right? So that's basically it for XRP. Now, and as far as targets go, we're still looking at this right here. If we take it from the bottom of this wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we should go up into 5. We take it here and then come back down, we have some numbers here, right? We have, I mean, it's really specific, but I would be more inclined to just say between 450 and 650. That would be the zone, right? Between 450 and 650. And then the second zone would be between 7 and 8, or 7 and 9, right up here. And then the last zone, the grand finale, hopefully we can hit it, is between 10 and say $15. Upwards of 20, even $27 on some of these fib targets, which is not as likely, especially, when we look at the market cap. It would probably be more conservative if we look at the market cap percentages as opposed to the price, right? Because there's a lot more XRP right now than there was back over here, right? There's a lot more circulating compared to back over here. So for example, I don't know how much XRP circulating supply was at that time, but let's say Brad Garlinghouse flipped the switch, and then all of a sudden we had erased all of the XRP and we're back at these levels. So let's say, I don't know, I have no idea what it was, but let's say like it was 35 billion XRP right here, and now we're like closer to 60 billion or so. So if we go to like 40 billion right now, this price would shoot up massively, right? So anyways, we have a very beautiful, I mean, to me, it's one of the best looking charts because of this beautiful cup, right? And another one here. So basically, XRP endured 2 bear markets. It had this massive bear market, and then everything else went on a full-blown bull run, including THETA, right? THETA went up, 20,000% during this time. That's why it's significantly weaker right now, but we'll talk about that. But essentially, it's still going to, in my opinion, outperform XRP in percentage terms, because we don't really have a lot left, right? We started from way down here and we've already went up quite a bit. So I would say we're about 60% of the way there, right? So, but by giving us two bear markets, what it did is it gave us a bigger base, but it also gave us a cup. It gave us two cups, but it also gave us a W pattern, right? A W pattern is extremely bullish. So if we take a W pattern and just put it right there, and we're going to take two lines just for fun here. We're going to take it from here. We're going to go all the way up. And then we're going to take another one here, and then we're going to go all the way up. So these are the measurements of both of the cups. If I put this one here, now it is on log scale, so it could be a little bit exuberant, right? But essentially this one brings us right up to basically 12 bucks, right? So if we take this one here and we do the same thing, roughly speaking, this one is all the way up to $20, right? So let's just say between $10 and $20 for those big targets, right? Now, if you want the biggest target on the planet, then it would have to be the 1618 on, it would have to be the 1618 on log scale, which, by the way, Dogecoin hit way beyond that target, right? So if I take a 1618 on log scale, it's not that big of a deal, right? You're looking at, I'm trying to get that right there. You're looking at like 27, let's say between $25 and $30, which sounds insane. We'll just say $25. And then that line would be right there. So essentially, right? Now, Dogecoin went way beyond that. You know where Dogecoin went, guys? Dogecoin went all the way, the same exact measurement. Dogecoin went all the way to the 2.272, which is the equivalent, guys, of XRP hitting $230. So remember when Elon tweeted out Dogecoin, all that crap? Okay, it went up to the 2.272, which is the equivalent of XRP hitting $230. Now, is XRP going to do that? I don't think so. I really highly doubt that. I mean, I wouldn't bet anything on that at all. The reason is because, market cap and things like that. But then also, I believe it will hit that $230 mark at some point in its life. But it's gonna be a big thing. It's gonna be a big ask. So if you had to force me to choose where the target would be, I mean, a lot of people are expecting the $10 target. I think a lot of people would be selling at that level. So I would be more saying like $9. I think $9 would be the hit. That's where I would, between $8 and $9 is where I would be getting out. Not my hodl position. I mean, my hodl position, I would definitely take some profit, but mostly the trade. But then if you watch the members video, it's not about that. It's about rotations. It's about, okay, so if I get rid of, let's say I sell it right here, and then I put it into THETA, which is down here, and then THETA comes up and gives me another 3x. That's what I would like to see, something along those lines. So anyway, that's XRP. It's exciting. We're getting closer. Take everything off the screen. And if you just look here at the bull market support band, we actually did, maybe not on this chart, maybe it was the other chart, but I remember seeing a wick right in here off the bull market support band. So that's good. And then also, I mean, you can see we're flagging out in here. So we flagged out here. Impulse, flagging out. Impulse, flagging out. Back test bull market support band. Let's go. So this is looking good. This is looking pretty good. All right. So that's enough for XRP. Let's look at something else. We're going to look at Bitcoin real quick. THETA. Now, theta is also looking interesting. You can see we are definitely getting squeezed inside of this wedge. I mean, you can see very clearly what's going on here. So, are we going to break it? I mean, we'll see. But basically, what I have to say about theta is I think we bottomed here. We have 5 waves. Remember, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with bullish divergence. We also have an A, a B, and a C, right? We have an A, B, C. So essentially what we're doing now is we're consolidating here at the low. Now this could be a Wyckoff accumulation schematic where we basically just play around up here, break out, and then go. Now there's 2 different schematics. One could be a creek where we kind of curl out and go. The other one could be a spring where we hit the low and then go. So I'm thinking one of those 2. It doesn't have to be that. It could also just be simply, a 5-way move down, and then you have a 1, and then this is a 2. And then we go up 3, right? 4 and 5. So we're just going to have to keep watching. It hasn't been completely exciting, right? So that's why I've just been kind of waiting and seeing what's going on here. So definitely wanted to give everyone an update here, but essentially that's all that's happening with the price of theta. Now, here's the cool part. What I believe is we are going up right there. I believe we're going to the retrace levels. It's only a matter of time. Now, if you take a percentage, what percentage would that be? That's a 2x. That's over 200%. That's about where XRP would potentially go, between 2 and 3x. So we're not looking at life-changing games here. We're looking at a big move coming, but that big move could turn into a super cycle for alts, right? I don't know if Bitcoin, and that's a story that has yet to be told, but essentially what that looks like is, you have 3 waves up, you have 3 waves down, and then you would have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up, right? And that would give us 3. And then a super cycle would mean theta wouldn't go into a bear market. It would basically go into a mid-cycle correction, kind of like what XRP did. You know how XRP did 2 bear markets? Well, the second one was really, it was a real bear market because Bitcoin was in it, but it was also somewhat of a mid-cycle correction because XRP hadn't fulfilled the prophecy of the cycle, right? So if we come down and we go into reaccumulation, right? Rise, crash, retrace. We come down into reaccumulation. We chill out a little bit. Then we start to go into new all-time highs. That, a lot of people would say, yeah, that's a bear market. Well, but it would most likely be, I would consider it a mid-cycle correction. Why? Because we didn't take the low. We have a higher low. We're setting up for the next wave. So to me, theta hasn't been in a bull market, right? The bull market ended here, and the new bull market won't start even if theta can go up 10x, and it would still not be in a bull market. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It can go all the way up here, and it's still inside of a bear market, and then it would chill out, and then it would go. And then all of that was the bear. But it was all included into one package, right? Because, when people show the total 3 chart, for example, a lot of coins are at the low. Like when you look at AVAX and THETA and ICP, the only 2 coins is Ethereum and XRP and the stable coins that are at all-time highs. So those are the only assets, right? When you talk about Tether, USDC, they print Tether all the time. So I don't like total 3 anymore because you really want to look at others, right? To get a better understanding here. So let's look at others. So this is more, I think it's more accurate, but you could see where others is at. It's way up here, right? Where THETA's down here, AVAX is down here. There's a lot of them that are down here. So SHIB is down there. Now SUI is not, right? Polygon is down there. Litecoin is down there. XLM is in the middle. ADA is in the middle. Monero is in the middle. Algo is down. CRV is down as well. It's kind of lower, but THETA's down. When I say down, I'm talking about relative to where others is at. So, and total 3. So if we just go to total 3, and what I did is I subtracted Tether, but I don't know if it quite worked. But essentially, this is our marker, right? So basically, we're at all-time highs. But again, like THETA and AVAX and SHIB and IMX, and there's a lot of them that are still way down here. So there's a disconnect between the mainstream, right? And then, when Trump looks at the market, he goes, oh, crypto's up. Look at it's way up here. But does it feel like it's up? When you look at your altcoin portfolio, do you feel that it is at these highs? Because I don't. I mean, XRP for sure, Ethereum for sure, Bitcoin for sure. But everything else, it's either in the middle, like right in here, or it's at the low right in here. So how the hell is it way up here? Because Ethereum and XRP are basically propping it up. Now there's a lot of other ones too. And then we also have to look at the fact that there's a lot of new currencies, new cryptos being created, right? So how many in the top 100 are up here versus like the top 500, right? Some of them can be way up here. So it basically kind of averages it all out. But if you look at SHIB, for example, and this kind of goes down here, we're still way down here, right? So there's a divergence between total 3 and SHIB and things like that. And that's kind of where I'm looking at. And I think that could produce a better return. I mean, just look at AVAX. You have this beautiful impulse, a 3-way pullback, a nice little double bottom here, and it looks like we're starting to go up into the retrace levels. Now that could turn into something much bigger, right? So essentially that's pretty much what's going on here. So let's look at a few other ones. Let's look at Bitcoin and see what's going on here. Now with Bitcoin, this is the scary one. This is the one I don't like. This is the one that's concerning because it's just been ripping, right? So if I took XRP, where do you think XRP is on this chart relative to the Bitcoin chart? You know where it's at? It's right there. That's where Bitcoin is at. Or XRP, it's right there. So look at the difference between XRP and Bitcoin, which is way the hell up there. So XRP has a lot of catching up to do. So here's what I'll say to that. XRP, what does it like to do? It likes to go sideways, shoot up. Go sideways, shoot up, right? So what if XRP is right here, basically XRP is the equivalent of Bitcoin being at like 20,000, essentially, right? So let's say, if Bitcoin's up here, how the hell is it going to catch up? Easy. You know what it can do? Bam. It could just give us a God candle, right? Maybe something like boom, boom. And then right there, now we're caught back up with Bitcoin. What is the percentage above that all-time high? So if I go all the way up to the top, that's about 600%. All right. So if I go back to XRP and I go up 600%, because remember, real quick, is that it? No, it's right there. Remember, this is where Bitcoin is, right? So Bitcoin, what did it do? Well, it shot up, it had a bear market, it came up, and now it's like right there. So that's the difference between the two charts. And nobody really paints that picture of the differences, right? Because again, Bitcoin went on a bull market here, Bitcoin went on a bull market here, right? But neither XRP did not. So it has a lot of built up pent demand, right? And then we have the ETF coming. So 600% from, I'm going to put it right there, 600%. Well, that gives us $20 XRP. So if XRP shot up to 20 bucks, I would say XRP has fully caught up to Bitcoin. I don't think that's going to happen though. It would be very difficult. It would have to be something news related. Maybe we have the ETF that comes, and then we have a couple other Ripple partnerships, and then maybe Trump says something about it. Like if we had, and then the rate cuts. If we had all of that together in a package, that could really push us to the upside, right? The market is an emotional drama queen, all right? So any little thing that the president says, or the Treasury Secretary, or the Fed, or whatever, or the numbers, the job numbers, or whatever, the market just reacts to it, right? Because it's a little drama queen. So anyways, that's basically it. Let's go back to Bitcoin though, and let's look at the what's going on here. Because I just don't, I mean, look at this thing, dude. I mean, at what point does it end? I don't know. It's kind of scary. Because if theta's down here and SHIB is down here and everything's down here, right? Actually, no, it's actually yeah. SHIB is down here, theta's down here. They're all right here because they did go on bull runs. XRP did not. So essentially, XRP and theta are in the same place. If you really think about it, if you average out the two cycles. So anyways, we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? This is 5. You could look at it like 1, 2, and then all of that's 3. This is 4, and now we're getting 5. Either way, it looks like, I mean, look at the difference, guys. Look at the difference between that and this. This is more organic. This is more controlled. This is more, this is actually better. I mean, you can see this starts off like a parabola, and then you have a quick shoot up, right? Where this is actually better because what it's doing is it's going up and then it's consolidating. Then it goes up, then it consolidates. Then it goes up, then it consolidates, right? And if it can break out again, you would be surprised how high this thing can actually go because it has taken a lot of breaks, right? It hasn't went completely straight up in a straight line where it would just basically, in a disaster. So this thing could really surprise us. But anyway, the small time frames, we have this run up, expanded flat, another run up, another expanded flat, right? Now looking at it closer, right? Impulse, three-way pullback, impulse, three-way pullback. So to me, it looks like we have a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders here. So maybe we need to pull back just a little bit here, but then shoot up. So that's kind of what I would think, and then we'll reevaluate, because I think this thing can take the high. It's just gonna take a little bit of work here. So Bitcoin still looks good. Bitcoin has a bullish posture. It's set up for a move higher just based off of that flat right there. Right? So we still have higher highs, the trend is your friend, guys, and the trend is not broken. We're consistently getting higher highs, higher lows, so we have to stay bullish until proven otherwise. Now, when would be the time to get bearish? The time to get bearish is if we broke this. If we break that, which is what? Basically below 90K. I would really say like 100K. If we break below, between 90 and 100, I'd say that's a bad thing, you know. So there you go. That's Bitcoin. We looked at Theta. Let's look at Litecoin. Whoa, wait a minute. Okay, yeah, AVAX is up 10%. And that was one I did not buy last night, unfortunately. I just didn't like this. I didn't know, it looked a little corrective to me. It looked like it needed to do this. But what it did is it gave us a more complex wave. Look at this. You had 3 up, 3 down, and then it looks like it's going to go up in 5 and give us a bigger 3. So it could still be 3, 3, and then 5, and then something like that. Give us a running flat. I don't know. I mean, if it does break to the upside, it doesn't mean we're just going to go straight up there. It could mean that we still need a little bit more downside to get going, right? And we'll talk about that at another time. But so far, it looks solid. I mean, look, the most important part is you have this base right here, and you have multiple touches and touches and touches and touches, and you finally broke out. And we have, this is the 2-day chart, but the daily is going to close in 6 hours. And if we can get a close above, that's a really good thing, a really good sign, right? I mean, we also talked about this being an ascending triangle. And if it is an ascending triangle, then the measured move would be approximately, I don't know, what is that, like $34 or so? So AVAX looking good. So here is Aki, and this was a request. And this is the first time I'm looking at it, so it looks okay. There's not a lot here to go on. I do like this right here. You got 3 and you got 3. You got 3 down, 3 up. It took the low. It gave you a liquidity grab and an impulse and another impulse. So this looks like 335. So it looks like we're going to get a 335. Now, how high can it go? I mean, let's see. If we take it from here up to there and then back down, I mean, you're looking at, a standard 1618 would be 0.038. So basically 0.038, right? It could go a lot higher than that. It could get up to I would say between 3 and 5 cents would be the idea here. So I don't really have a lot of history here. I would assume we have a 5-wave move and a 3-wave pullback. So this could be a 1 and a 2, and we could be on our way for a massive move to the upside. In which case, I would take this and just do that. And that looks like between 8, I would say between 8 and 20 cents. I know it's a big range, but we have to see what the structure looks like as we go up, right? And we really have to break this, So small time frames. I mean, this could flag out for a little while, so we'll circle back to it. SHIB, basically the same thing as Theta, literally. We want to break this range and get in the retrace, which I believe is a very good shot at doing so. Now, Polygon and AVAX kind of did the same thing. They kind of came up and did this 3-wave move here. So I'm wondering if it's setting up for a running flat. We'll see. All right, Litecoin. Litecoin, definitely don't count Litecoin out because Litecoin is also in a similar situation as XRP, in which case it really didn't go into a massive bull run, right? It's just, it had this three-way move up, three-way move down, consolidating. So this is primed for major moves, right? And Monero as well. So I think Litecoin could be a big winner for this cycle just based on, you know, how much market structure it has. And then also, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Litecoin ETF. I mean, every time they show it on Fox Business, CNBC, they always show Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. They never share XRP, even though XRP is completely more valuable than Litecoin. But Litecoin has stood the test of time, and it is a real thing. So Litecoin is, the silver to gold, as Bitcoin to gold, Litecoin to silver, sort of that ratio, right? So anyways, Litecoin, we have, you could say 5 three-way pullback, 1, 2, and then you have another 1 and then another 2, and this is a 1, 2, and this is another 1, 2. So we could be revving up for a major third wave, right? But then we're going to run into a big issue, which is the same issue XRP has. So if we do break out of this and we get up here, it could take some time to get going. And that's what I don't know. I don't know if we have that time, because Bitcoin is already, it's already pretty high. So we'll see how it all plays out. But yeah, I do like Litecoin a lot here. I think it looks really good. Let's just get above this line here. You can kind of see a shoulder ahead. If this starts to curl back up, you could technically say another shoulder there. So the measured move, approximately, I'll be conservative with it, between 260 and 280. And that would put us exactly in the retrace high. So that first crash and the retrace, it's always where that retrace is, that usually where it wants to go. So that's kind of my target for Litecoin, around 280 or so. IMX, same kind of thing as, we're just needing a retrace, nothing special. XLM is definitely one you want to keep an eye on. Now, like XLM is and other ones are kind of a challenge, because I don't, we have 3 down, we have 3 up. I don't know if we're going to get 3 back down again to give us a solid 3. So that's what we don't know, right? It could be finished. This could be, we have 3 waves up, we have 3 waves down, and then we have 1, 2, 3, and then we have 3, which is 4, and then a 1, 2, 1, 2. We could go up for a 5. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3, 3, 5. So yeah, or if that's 3 and that's 3 and then that's 3 and then go. But the way it looks right now, this looks bullish. It looks like a 3-way pullback right there. Impulse, 3-way pullback. So this looks like it's primed to get going here. Now this one could also get a little more complex. It could shoot up, and that could be a B, and then a C, and then go. So A, B, C, right? Some kind of a flat. But the way it stands right now, this looks like a finished thing, and it looks like we're on our way. So tomorrow is Thursday. Like I said, Wednesdays and Thursdays, especially Thursdays, are very volatile days. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. No guarantees at all, right? It doesn't mean it has to happen, but typically that's what we've been seeing. So the market cap, real quick, the market cap of XRP, you could see how much higher the market cap is compared to the price. And that's why I think we're a little bit further along here. You could see we're a lot higher. So in that sense, if we did the same kind of thing here, and let's say, yeah, is this the log scale target here? Yeah, so if we go up and hit that 1618 on log scale, that would be about 430%, which is the equivalent of XRP hitting, let's see, 430% where we are right now. That gives us about $16. 14, 15, $16, right around there. So yeah, I mean, as opposed to $27, right? 20 or 25, right? On the 1618 log scale, the price chart is 25, but the market cap chart would be more like 16 because you have inflation, right? So we have the Ripple escrow account, and there's 100 billion max coins that'll ever be created, but there's only so many circulating. So I don't know why people talk about the escrow. It doesn't matter. 100 billion is 100 billion. There can never be any more. So the way I look at it is we have 100 billion. So no matter what happens, we still have 100 billion, right? So if Ripple releases it, and they do release it each month, so I would think in a couple years, they're going to have no more XRP to sell, and then what? And then you're going to have all 100 billion in the market, and then, that's when things are definitely interesting, right? So that's pretty much it. Let's look at, Filecoin looks interesting. I think it could get back up here. ADA, also interesting. It looks like it's starting to poke through a little bit. Speaking of ADA, where's the main? Here we go. So if we look here, yeah, I mean, we're getting close. We really want to get up here. So I would say in between this zone here, right in here, it's kind of setting us up, setting us up, setting us up. Let's get one more up here. So ADA looking good. CRV, major point there. HBAR also similar to XLM, basically the same. Want to see it keep going. So basically it comes down to two ideas. You have an A, a B, and now we're going to go down and C and then go up, which would mean bearish short term, or this is finished and we're ready to go now. So it's difficult because you have point A, point B, point C. You're right in the middle, so we have to wait. Now, from a structure perspective, this is bullish. This is telling me we should go up based on how it's correcting. So we'll see how it all plays out. Sia Coin, I know there's a few Sia Coin fans. I mean, this thing looks pretty interesting because it looks like a triangle. You have A, B, C, D, and E. So you have a nice triangle here. So you have an impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Triangle. This thing can fly to the moon. Now, I don't know if it's going to. I have no idea who's working on this project. I don't know. Who knows? But from a chart perspective, it looks pretty cool. I wouldn't put any leverage on it, but yeah. Sealer network. Haven't looked at this one in a minute. Just trying to look at a lot of different things. This one looks like Axie Infinity a little bit, where you kind of have this, you know, this 3 and then this 3, and then you maybe get 5 like that. So it gives us something like that. So anyways, and an Ethereum. Oh, you know what? We didn't look at Ethereum, did we? Yeah, so Ethereum was the only one that I didn't like because it looks like it's too high. So there's an argument to be made that Ethereum could be coming down, right? Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we could get an ABC and come down, retest the bull market support band, then continue up. So if we look small time frames, I mean, that looks bearish to me. It looks like a descending triangle. Now, it did break out, but, you know, it's just one of those things you got to wait and see, because I don't like how volatility gets big and then it's small and then it dies and then it's like you have no idea. A lot of times it drops down. So I would not be buying Ethereum right now. I don't have unless if this is a running flat, right? A, B, C, it could be done and then it's over and then we rev up here, but we're going to have to see. So other than that, I'm still waiting for THETA to break above the downward resistance line. We're right there. We're really close. So let's see if we could do it. So anyways, that'll do it for this video. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Not financial advice, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.